Okay, so this is part 9 in the series of why Donald Trump is the Antichrist. So, this one hits home to me because only just a short few years ago I was deceived by the whole alien stuff. I was big into UFOs and the conspiracies revolving UFOs before I became a born again believer and saved by Jesus Christ. And I'm not going to go into much detail about the Roswell thing because most people know about Roswell. It was when there was reportedly a flying saucer, that alien saucer that crashed in New Mexico. And there's no coincidence that this happened in 1947 because World War II ended in two nuclear explosions, in Japan, ending World War II. And then 2 years after that, 1947, this happens. And so, and this is, I wanted to really make this video because we're seeing a huge uptick in all the drones and all the alien UFO crafts that are flying around the world right now, and people getting videos of it. And it's becoming very, very prevalent, and there's a reason for that. So, we'll just read a short section. So, Unsolved Mysteries, the true story of the Roswell UFO incident and what experts are still trying to debunk. So, in 1947, the United States Air Force claimed that a flying disc had been recovered in New Mexico, but quickly retracted the findings. Ufologists call the Roswell incident the ultimate cold case file. On the night of July 2nd, 1947, amid a severe lightning storm, ranchers outside of Roswell, New Mexico recall hearing what sounded like an explosion. The next day, W. Mac Brazel discovered debris in a field near his home, unlike any he'd ever seen. After handing over the wreckage to the United States Air Force, the Roswell Army Airfield issued a press release stating that they'd captured a flying saucer. Word spread around the world, but the claims were quickly retracted 24 hours later. The Air Force's revised statement informed citizens that the wreckage was not from a UFO, but merely remnants of a weather observation balloon that had crashed. It's been nearly 80 years since the Roswell incident, and there are countless theories about what was found in New Mexico. Ufologists Don Schmitt and Kevin Randall, who have been trying to uncover the truth since 1989, believe Roswell is the one case that could solve the entire UFO mystery overnight. Their findings about an alleged government cover-up are documented in Netflix Unsolved Mysteries, Volume 5, Episode 4. I believe that the military experienced the recovery of an alien spacecraft. It's where the evidence is leading us, Randall claimed in the episode. The Air Force says they have no evidence it was extraterrestrial. I think that the files were gathered up and are in a different repository, hidden deep in the archives of the government, and therefore there was no paper trail to it. And there's many documentaries about this whole incident. And there's no coincidence that this happens, most importantly, a year prior to the establishment of the state of Israel in 1948. See, Satan's no idiot. He's in control of our governments and all of our institutions all over the globe. And he knows Bible prophecy just as well as we do, if not better. And he understands that he has to try and to deceive the masses when the rapture happens. And there's only one way to do it, and that's through aliens. That's the only way they can explain it. When the rapture happens, when we go up, they come down. That's what's going to happen here. And this is the ultimate deception, and all these aliens are going to back the Antichrist. They're going to tell everyone to trust in this man. They're going to come up with a story as to what happened to these undesirables that were holding humanity back, and we're at a low vibrational state, whatever it is. But there's no coincidence that all these UFO sightings have really been heating up these past few years, and especially in the past week. People are seeing them all over the place, and they don't seem to really be leaving. So we do know we are getting very close. And Matthew chapter 24, verse 32 through 35 says, "Now learn a parable of the fig tree. When his branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise, ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even at the doors. Verily I say unto you, this generation shall not pass, till all these things be fulfilled. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Now, so we're told that this generation shall not pass. What generation is he talking about? He's talking about the generation that started in the year of Israel becoming a nation, which was in 1948. That generation will not pass. Well, how long is a generation? That is revealed to us in Psalms 90, chapter 90, verse 10. The days of our years are 60 years and 10. So 70 years, and if by reason of strength they be 80 years, 80 years, yet is their strength labored in sorrow, for it is soon cut off, and we fly away. Notice that, we fly away. That's the rapture. And the fig tree is always talking about Israel. It's all throughout the Bible. So, and there's no coincidence here. If you look at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the NIM Aviation branch of government, you see all these planes, and then what do you see in there? A UFO, a flying saucer. There's no coincidence in that. They're seeding the agenda and what they want people to believe when the rapture happens. And when was the NIM Aviation government branch created? It was formed in June 1st of 2015. So yeah, there's no coincidence that they put UFO in the logo. It's blatantly obvious. And then this is the U.S. Space Force logo on the hat. They sell these hats, and so if you look at when it's just the normal, when it's the right way, it just looks somewhat normal, just a spacecraft with a star. But then when it's flipped upside down, it looks like Baphomet with the horns and then the upside down star. It's the same. They're showing it blatantly in your face. And then, lo and behold, who forms the Space Force, the first military branch in space? That would be Mr. Donald Trump. Here's him signing it into effect. And here's some pictures of him posing with the U.S. Space Force flag. Here's another picture right here. I mean, it's just blatantly in your face. Because they have to, there's no other way. This is the only way. You see, post-tribbers, mid-tribbers, people that don't even believe in a rapture, all these people, they'll never point to make the connections when it comes to aliens. Why? Because they don't believe in the rapture. But when you understand that the rapture is biblical and it's definitely about ready to happen, you would understand what's going on. There's a couple YouTube channels talking about the Antichrist, depicting Trump as being that man, like Off Grid Desert Farming News with Paul and Adrian, and Antichrist 45, Brother James Key. But they don't ever make these connections. They don't talk about it. But it's so obvious, like you have to. This is just the dots that you have to connect here. And you have to watch out too, because Antichrist 45 and Brother James Key, they never even talk about warp speed. You can go into their videos in the year 2020 and 2021, and they don't talk about it at all, which is very suspect. It leads me to believe that they probably took the vaccine or the hokey pokey. And that's just cognitive dissonance to the largest extent. It's sad, but that's why people act like this, and it's really easy to deceive people when they feel like their lives are in danger and threatened, and they're operating off of a survival mode. But I pointed all that Operation Warp Speed stuff out. It's blatantly obvious. It's just more evidence. But yeah, he created Space Force, and I believe, what was it? guess I don't know where I put it, but it was created in 2019. I do know that. That was during Trump's first presidency, and it makes sense because he's gonna be the one where the aliens are propping up, and he's gonna have to be behind that. And QAnon ties into this as well. I'm gonna make a separate video about that. QAnon definitely ties into this. And then, if you're into UFOs and you've researched the conspiracies around them and what these ufologists talk about, because I used to study all this stuff, they're always prevalent around nuclear silos, any type of nuclear missile base. There's been reports by whistleblowers, like from generals and high-ranking officers in the Air Force and in the Navy, about when they would test these large ICBMs with nuclear tips on them, they would get shot out of the sky. And there's no coincidence with that, because what's going to happen, rapture happens, Donald Trump gets introduced as the antichrist by these aliens, and what's going to happen is they're going to prop him up, get everyone to trust him, tell everyone this is the guy you need to follow. What's the second seal of Revelation to be broke? That's World War. That's going to be World War III. These missiles are going to strike major cities and military bases across the globe. It's going to kill millions of people in a matter of minutes. And that's why the alien thing ties in here, because they're going to be shooting these missiles out of the sky. They're going to let some hit because they need that chaos, and they need the economy to collapse. They need people to be begging to go back to normal and looking for a savior. So they're going to allow this to happen, but they're going to have these UFOs shoot a majority of them out of the sky and prevent humanity from destroying itself completely, so that the Antichrist can take over the world and to deceive the masses and get them to take the mark. But this is just one simple short, but there's so many videos that talk about the aliens being around silos. But let's just watch real quick.
What do you make of the stories and reports of nuclear weapons facilities being shut down when there was a sighting and that these things hovered over these nuclear facilities and they shut them down?
That happened in 1967 at the Malmstrom Air Force Base in Montana, where there were 10 ICBMs that shut down. Remember, this is our nuclear strike force. They have to be operational 24/7, right? They shut down. And in the presence of a glowing ball in the air. So people put two and two together and said maybe the aliens want to neutralize our ICBMs for the.
And if you've been following along in the news lately, people have been sending up their drones to try and see what's going on with these UFOs that are flying over people's houses and neighborhoods. And lo and behold, their batteries get completely drained, and their drones fall out of the sky when they're completely charged. So they have the capabilities to do this. And they're going to do this to make sure that not all the missiles can launch and whatnot. They're either going to sabotage the nuclear missile silos, or at least most of them, or there's going to be a combination of both. They're going to sabotage nuclear missile silos and strategic launch sites, or they're going to shoot some out of the sky. We don't know exactly how it's going to go, but the aliens are going to be the ones that helped stop this. And they're going to try and get everyone in, ushered into the new golden age, and to reach a higher frequency and to help grow humanity. It's just going to be all new age garbage, and the deception is going to be wild for people who are left behind.
But we don't know. All we know is that these are military men. These are military-grade equipment. There's plenty of documentation. I think there's 120 military men over the years who've said that there are things like this at other missile bases.
What do you make of...
just a quick little scroll here. Look. National Geographic, UFO sightings at nuclear bases, full episodes. UFOs investigating the unknown. UFO disabled a nuke in midair. These UFOs tipped missiles off alert. And this is just at the very beginning. You don't even have to scroll far to see all. Look at this. The Hill. UFOs disabled U.S. nuclear missiles at height of Cold War, according to former U.S. Air Force officials. I mean, it's just the whole agenda just couldn't be more blatantly obvious. And yeah, this all ties into QAnon as well. I'm gonna make a separate video too with that, and it all ties in even with the alien stuff. It's all getting you to trust the plan and the storm that's coming, all this stuff. But this is just a quick little video to help try to connect some dots if you haven't already. Maybe this is new to you. Maybe this helps you see past the lies that have been going on around the UFO stuff. And just a brief thing about UFOs. A lot of people don't understand it. They'll say, UFOs, they're fallen angels and demons and all that. Okay. To a large extent, yes. But the specifics of it is they've had access of technology to clone humans and all that for a long time now. So basically in DUMBs and deep underground military bases and classified security clearance operations and all this stuff, they've been cloning and making chimeras, and they've been making all these sorts of hybrids like the grays, the gray aliens. And the reason they have to do that is because the demons can't operate in the physical realm. They have to operate in the spiritual realm. And the only way for them to operate in the physical realm is they have to inhabit a host, which is either humans, animals, or an artificial grown body or whatever. Maybe potentially even AI, I don't know. But then these are the things that are flying these UFO crafts that are fallen angel technology essentially, and they're hundreds of years past our time, and they've been reserved mostly for the times we're pretty much in now and during the tribulation. And make no mistake, these things will probably land on people's front yards, and these aliens will be coming out, and they will be inhabited by demons. They're essentially demons. And who knows what they're going to be doing to people at this time. But that is what is happening. Oh yeah, and another thing I forgot to say is where do demons come from? They come from the disembodied spirits of the giants. So when what do they call them? The fallen angels, when they mated with the daughters of men, they created giants, the Nephilim. When the Nephilim died, their spirits remained here, and so they have to inhabit a host. So that's where demons come from. But anyways, this is just a short little video to help connect some dots, and this just proves how close we are. So this concludes part 9.